Hi, I'm Tina Leone, the CEO of the Ballston Business Improvement District.
Hi, I'm Sally Duran and I'm Chairman of the Economic Development Commission for Arlington County.
I'm Angie Fox, President and CEO of the Crystal City Business Improvement District, and I am very happy to welcome you to a conversation on transforming communities here in Arlington.
I think we live in a wonderful community. We were ranked in the top 7 most intelligent communities in the world, which is very exciting. And I think one of our chief characteristics is we have a really unique set of values here: fairness, creativity, and a wonderful partnership between our residents and our business community. So let's hear a little bit more about what's happening with the bids.
Crystal City, we are very focused on transforming the Crystal City experience. We think Crystal City, just like Arlington, is a great place to live, work, play, and stay. And we also have added sort of explore and learn, and just really focused on programs that make it, and not just a livable community, but a great place to work, and really a healthy economic engine for Arlington County. We are Arlington County's hotel district and largest business district, and a real tax supporter for the community.
Same, we have bids do similar work in unique ways, and what's great about Arlington and Crystal City and Ballston have different types of neighborhoods. So we both focus on what our assets are in our community and develop programs, events, and activities around that, and make our communities as great as they can be. So, yeah.
Well, you're certainly the economic engine for Arlington County, and one of the great things about what you're doing is you've enabled Arlington to have a 50-50 split on our tax base. One of the things not everyone realizes how unique that is. In a lot of the jurisdictions, Fairfax and other jurisdictions, the split is the residents are paying 70% of the taxes and the businesses are paying 30%. So we really value the contribution of the business communities. It helps fund our schools, it helps fund our parks, improving the sidewalks, and making this a wonderful place to live and having a great quality of life.
Well, it's interesting too, because you make an excellent point about how important the business communities are here in Arlington, and sort of that special tax balance that we enjoy. But federal government of late has made some very big decisions that has led to a lot of our employees moving out of Arlington County, and this is something I know that Crystal City deals with on a daily basis, and also Tina.
It's happening to us as well. It's happening in Ballston. The picture is going to change in the next 3 to 5 years. There's a lot of positive, and there's a lot of movement out with the government tenants as well.
And so, we, as in Crystal City as a bid, we were formed in response to some of those decisions in order to try and really attract not just government tenants, but a better balance, more residential, but also a better balance of the corporate tenants that are actually there, so that when the government makes decisions, that doesn't transform sort of the experience in a negative way.
And the Economic Development Commission has been paying close attention to your efforts, and we strongly support them. And actually, one of our big focuses over the last 18 months has been competition and helping Arlington have a more competitive approach to the competing in the region. And the work that your bid's doing is a key part of that. But we've also been focusing on talking with the county government and the county board and telling them about the need to be business friendly, have easier processes, and recognize in the future, our future is the innovation economy. It's less dependency on the federal government. It's more partnerships with the universities, partnerships with the business. And actually, one of our projects that we're doing this year is we're looking at the office market of the future. And in Crystal City in particular, there was a really great activity this year that maybe you could touch on, talking about the office market of the future.
So there's several things that have been going on in Crystal City. We've always said it's an active, artful, accessible, and green place, and now we've really added innovative, and this kind of focuses on the innovative approach, innovative companies. We designed some offices of the future to let companies come in and see how smaller spaces could grow with them, and then also if they outgrew those spaces, then they could grow into other areas of Crystal City. We launched something called Tech Shop. If you have an interesting idea, it's a 21,000 square foot workshop basically where you can go and build it. And then we also launched the Crystal Tech Fund, which is a $50 million fund that would help fund sort of Series B companies, so that again you see the sort of the growth from little tiny startup all the way to the companies that are more successful.
Right.
And then in addition to that, we launched what you call We Work residential, which are the smaller unit housing where you've got almost like dormitory size housing for people that are really interested in not just, they don't need a big space, and it's got a lot of community aspects to it, so it's a really kind of innovative way not to just work, but also to live. Right. So very excited about all of those programs.
It's terrific. And, in Ballston, they're also doing some really innovative things. That's kind of what we're calling our STAR corridor, the intersection of science, technology, the arts,
and education.
And research and education.
I think that's where Ballston's future could really expand and grow, is in the education sector, and that with Marymount and George Washington and Virginia Tech having a big presence, and then of course George Mason is just right next door. There's amazing opportunities for Ballston to become this hub for education. The synergy between the education organizations and the research and development agencies and organizations that are here could really make Ballston an even bigger brain trust and really put Ballston on the map internationally. And there's a lot of potential for that. So.
Well, and we're really excited about that. And one of the other things that we focused on in our recommendations from the Competitiveness Task Force was incentives. And just the projects you've just described and the ones you have tie right in with our recommendations on making it easier for businesses to do business and giving them more incentives to come into the county. One of the things that we're facing, really, which everyone knows, is the National Sciences Foundation made a decision to relocate, and so Arlington's we're beneficiaries of our success. It's more expensive to do business here, so we've had to work on making it more attractive to new businesses, and all of the programs that you put in place are doing.
Well, NSF is only so much space. Then in Crystal City, you're talking about 17,000 jobs that have moved out of the area. But a key piece of that, and the reason that our partnerships with the county are so important, is that what we're able to do as BIDs, we're small, we're quick, we make things happen in a really big way, and the county embracing that and sort of gloves off, if you will. I mean, that's the only way to get there, because there are so many more competitive neighborhoods around, and the way we complement each other and can do things, it's just we need to make sure that the systems behind us can also answer to what some of these companies are asking for.
And
precisely.
I think the county's really been trying to do that. It was really great. The county manager did some listening tours last year, and they validated the same ideas that we had at the Economic Development Commission, and they've been trying to put a lot of steps in places to have easier processes, changes in parking, and also one of the things that the county infrastructure has been working on is something called dark fiber, which is going to be a game changer and allow us to compete more aggressively in getting businesses to come into the county. The business has to start or end in Arlington County, and they'll be able to have faster access to internet, and it's very something a lot of the defense companies, both private and government, are very, very interested in. So that's just one of the infrastructure improvements the county's trying to put in place to support the
bids.
And
anything, anything that we can do that just further is responsive to the business community's needs, because again, the benefits that we enjoy. So I'm interested in a way, because I live in Crystal City, but I work in Crystal City, but I live in Ballston, so I sort of get the the business improvement side on both, and just. What we offer, is really meant to have an experience that we all want to have, but it also can be frustrating, because we hear it every single day, what the businesses are looking for, and that, the roadblocks that they face, and, this partnership to take those down.
The key point of having Arlington County really make it very attractive, easy for a business to get started up and run, meaning into their office. Shortening that process is going to make it much more it's going to be less expensive, and just get them in, because if you could guarantee you can get a new tenant in, a new company in to Arlington within 30 days, they can be there. Everything's done. Permitting, anything they need to start to move in, get done, it's done. That would be an enormous incentive right there, because the longer that drags out, I mean, there's companies that wait 6 months longer to just have everything lined up, just to be able to do the work to get into this space. So
I think the county management, county leadership, and the Economic Development Commission certainly got that message. An ombudsman was appointed last year to try and give the business community a direct line to getting help. The county leadership embraced the innovation economy and realized that we're going to transition from being a federally focused economy to new startups, that we're going to want shorter leases, that we're going to want different kinds of leases, and that the county infrastructure had to be more responsive. And I know there's a lot of steps that have been taken to put that in place, and we've certainly been trying to embrace that as part of our discussions this year with the Economic Development Commission. So I think one other thing we spent some time on in the commission is values, and one of the things that we do think is important is preserving this partnership we have with the citizens. We see that Arlington prospers because of the residents and the business community working together, and one of the things that we do want to emphasize is our tagline is we want small town charms with big city amenities. We still want to have great schools. We still want lots of green spaces where people can be in the parks and play at night, so that the residents are having a wonderful quality of life, and that attracts businesses too, because that's a place they want to have their workforce.
Well, you have to have a balance because, in a business community like Crystal City, we have great restaurants, and they need the business community there during the day for the lunches, and then they need the happy hour piece, and then the residents and staying for dinner. So it's you need that good balance between residential and commercial to keep those communities healthy and the kinds of experiences that we want to have. And there's a very different mentality these days. People want to be able to walk.
Right.
They want to be able to walk around in their communities, and I think that's one of the great things about Arlington. There's several very walkable, very bikeable areas, and I know that Arlington's very focused on continuing to sort of build that out as well, because you can't get complacent in any of these areas, because then you lose ground.
And the options in Arlington are phenomenal. In each one of our communities in particular, it's not in Metro, multiple buses, types of buses, bikes.
Bike share,
walking.
amazing.
Being able to just. Both of our walk scores for our communities are really high. I think we're 94. I think you're 91 or something. We're it's just easy to just get around. For a woman to walk around in 4-inch heels, and not get, it's easy. It's flat. It's just nice. And the options for people to live is also very important. Apartments, condos, townhouses, single-family homes. Very close to within close proximity, especially in Ballston, and within 2 blocks you have townhouses and single family homes from the metro.
Right.
I think the pricing of these things is a little bit of a concern.
Right.
We've had discussions about affordable housing, et cetera, going forward. So I think that's something that would the county is working on and taking into consideration as well. But the options that are coming up, like the WeWork space, are really exciting to allow buildings to contain different types of uses all together. If you could live, work, and play in that one same building. Not that you wouldn't want to go outside, but you don't have to.
We have great things for them to do outside.
Because the workers nowadays, first of all, I feel like I work all the time, which is not a bad thing, but we're always accessible.
Right.
And people, there's some people that want to work at 2:00 in the morning. So wouldn't it be great if their office was right in the? It's a global economy. So your phone call, you got to be up at 4 a.m. to have a phone call across the world. That's just where we are right now.
There also has to be an expectation too. When you're living in a more densely populated area, we've got great transit, so we're built for it. But that also means things like noise, and that they happen. And obviously, we want to be responsive and make sure that we can, all get a good night's sleep. But at the same time, sometimes that drives, whether you're in the heart of it or slightly on the outskirts of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. Well, in terms of housing that's affordable, that is something that's really important to the county for all age groups. We want it for young people. We want it for people that are retired. We want it for people who want to work here. And I know the county's been working very hard on trying to look at creative options for housing that's affordable. And actually, I think the other piece that's really neat about what's happened in Crystal City is you've kind of made lemonade out of a lemon situation. You have some buildings that have been empty.
Right.
And the great thing is you're going to be ready. You're going to help the county be ready for the innovation economy, because you are doing, housing, residential, all together.
Yeah.
I mean, business, residential spaces working together.
So, it's very interesting. When we first came on, we were at the very beginning of BRAC, which is Base Realignment and Closure, and some of the offices moving out. And PTO was still moving to the Carlisle, down the Alexandria Patent and Trade office. So we had some vacant spaces, and so we did some fun things like Artomatic, where we brought 1,000 artists into 2 floors of a building and made this massive arts happening, of which initially the county had no experience in doing, and so we sort of helped them sort of get a different idea for what this building could be short term, and we brought 32,000 people through the first time we did it. 5 years later, we brought 75,000 people through. But through that sort of trial, and like the county sort of saying, okay, go for it and see what happens. The county sort of learned the impact. The restaurants were extremely happy in terms of their business, and then the building owners also started to see their buildings a little differently. And so it's almost kind of like this three-way partnership between the bids, the county, and the property owners and developers that we can do some creative things that we hadn't thought about before. So you turn an office building that's next to mine that used to be another office building into, you put 6 stories on top and they turned it into luxury apartments, and then they're about to turn another similar building into the WeWork residential. So it's very active and dynamic forms of reuse, and the county, I think, is more and more responsive to those because they understand sort of how the market is shifting, which is great. So all of us together are sort of learning from each other and building on those ideas.
Exactly, and I think that the kind of core value that's staying in place is this partnership with the residents and businesses, that we all still want a balance. We want a quality of life, like you said, a good night's sleep, some green space, but live, work, and play. And there's some really exciting things going on in Ballston, so maybe you can talk about the plans there.
Yes, Ballston isn't Ballston anymore. I mean, it was funny when I first started this position. Our bid is actually very new, as you know. It's only 2.5, 3 years old. And when I started, people said, "Why does Ballston need a bid? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it." Well, it needed a bid because it needed to let the world know that, hey, we have a personality and character. These are the types of businesses that are here, and come and join us, And so our tagline is "Where Minds Meet," because we have an amazing concentration of these intellects that create things that now become indispensable to us. So we certainly want to attract more of those people. But Ballston's it's going through like a mini revolution in the next 3 to 5 years with some major redevelopments, including Marymount University, who we mentioned. The infamous Blue Goose is coming down in January, and 2 new buildings will be going up in the place, an education building and an apartment building, and then the mall is really the exciting part. The fact that that's going to renovate and become a real town center for Ballston. It's one of the things that Ballston has been missing, is a real true heart. Right? When you say, well, where do you want to meet? Well, you don't necessarily say the mall right now.
No, that's right.
I think that's going to change with this renovation. They're going to turn the mall inside out, make it much more pedestrian friendly, add much more attractive retail. So they're going to upgrade the retail in that mall. Now you won't need to leave. I mean, you won't need to drive to Tyson's or take the metro, the Silver Line to Tyson's, and fight all of that. And it's all right here. It's all walkable. So it just makes it even more attractive. I would say if you are thinking about buying a condo or townhouse in Ballston, do it now.
Okay, that's fabulous. And I just want to touch on one thing. You have kind of a university row there. You've got Tech, which has a major presence in their major presence in Northern Virginia is Ballston. You have GW next door, along with Marymount, and we have the George Mason's presence. And Tech has been a contributor to some of our work at the Economic Development Commission. We're using some of their brain power to develop some metrics to benchmark the county against some of our competitors, so we can stay on the cutting edge for the innovation economy. But your point about where minds meet is really, really important, and that's really going to be part of the character of that whole area.
Absolutely.
Well, you've touched on this whole partnership between the businesses and the residents over and over again, and for us, it's also the visitors. I mean, I have 5,000 hotel rooms in Crystal City, and we're known as kind of an event bid because we do all of these like sort of weekly fun things that are going on, and We have 5K Fridays, and we have things like Pups and Pilsners coming up. And the idea with those is we get about a third of our workers that come to those events, and about a third residents, and a third of people coming from not just the whole Wash-Med area, but because of the hotels from potentially all over, and sometimes internationally. And so it's all about sort of creating a fun place too, because people want to work in a fun place, they want to live in a fun place, and they want to visit a fun place. So those are there's a reason for that, and it really helps bring a lot of those diverse groups together as well. And it might be a blues and brews, which is sipping beer and like listening to live music, and then tasting from the great restaurants and just wandering around having a nice experience outside.
And that's where Arlington really did it right. And Ballston is a great example of that too. Straight 50-50 mix of residential and commercial, over 70 restaurants in a 5-block radius. We have Taste of Arlington, which attracted over 40,000 people last year. And we're working on a whole new set of programs to implement too for the community. So it just gets better and better.
And tourism is a really important part of Arlington. I think we're the #1 tourist destination in the state of Virginia. We're the gateway to our nation's capital, and one of the goals is to keep leveraging on our location next to our nation's capital.
Well, we have location, and then we always talk about transportation too. I mean, we're in our area, we're the only neighborhood that has an airport that you can walk to, right?
That's
and we
true.
do
Or
it.
bike
We have a walk, bike. We're working on getting a bike share station at the airport, but we have a little walk challenge and a walk to and from Crystal City. I see pilots doing it on a regular basis. But that accessibility is really key. And it's like we want to be, as you say, a gateway. You come here, stay in Crystal City. It's easy to get wherever else you're going to go, and it's a low hassle experience. You have to, you've got great parking, great amenities, and things like that you would want, as a tourist, a business traveler. Just the kinds of things that are low hassle, because we get hassled all the time. And our sort of motto is, we're going to bring you to an event, or bring you to Crystal City, or whatever it is, whatever you need to do. This is a great home base, and you're going to get less hassle.
Well, that's what we want, to be the easiest place in the region to do business. That's our goal.
That would be wonderful, totally.
And location is key. I mean, the
Absolutely.
location, Arlington overall. I mean, we think Ballston is beautifully positioned, even especially with Silver Line. It just improves access to Dulles. I look at Arlington, this could be the center of the universe. I mean, there's the accessibility from both of our neighborhoods, the mind power that's here. It's really is a great place. It does set the model for the country, and we just got to stay on that.
Exactly.
I bike from home in Ballston to work in Crystal City. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. It's just, and you get to see. It's a beautiful ride.
You get to see everything up
close.
close.
You see all of it up close. And it's that great experience. My son is in school in Arlington. I mean, it is really a great place to be. I've been here since '91, and I just want to help continue, whether it's for the business community, the resident, all together, to make it still that place that we've all sort of known and grown to love.
Well, I'm a longtime Arlingtonian. I put my kids through the public schools here, and
which are fabulous.
They are fabulous, and I think that's a big draw for people wanting to live here, and I think we all share the goal of having all our schools in the top in the country, and it's been a really important draw
for
residents and for the business community.
It is. It's if you have to send your kid to private school because you don't trust the public school system, you're looking at it, and essentially that's another tax that you have to pay because the schools are inadequate. You don't have any of those issues in Arlington. I mean, it is the system is just it's amazing.
Right.
You look at other communities. I've looked it up now that I have a 3-year-old. I look at this stuff. I could, it's not that I didn't care before, but now I really, really care, and it makes me cringe. So it's right there is a great reason just to move to Arlington.
It's a great reason. I think one of our other challenges is having housing that's affordable for the adult children to stay here once they've made it through the school system. So some of the innovations.
That's the kinds of things that we work residential and others. It's like how much space do you really need? I mean, I think we're really testing new models. I mean. When I first moved here, I lived on Columbia Pike, and my job was in Silver Spring, and I didn't know that it was in Silver Spring when I first moved here. And I spent so much time on the road, and it kind of instilled for me. It's like I don't want to do that. And
I had a similar type of commute.
But the ability to live, you can literally you could spend your life on the road here, or maybe you don't need McMansion in Ashburn, you know, in a big yard, because you don't have time to take care of your yard anyway. So you have a little smaller space where we can take care of the parks and the events and all the fun stuff for you, and then you actually get to spend time with your family, which is sort of the goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been very lucky to have such a great partnership between the Economic Development Commission, the BIDs, the county, and the leadership. I think everybody's been working together to help us be very competitive and innovative and continue to be what we've always been, a leader in the region and a key driver for success for the community. So it's been great. It's been really good.
Absolutely. You know, and it's been fun just to be part of sort of a process to transform at least, you know, my community.
And ours is, you know, just, again, you know, it's already great, but we gotta
we can't rest on our laurels. We have to keep working because all the other jurisdictions are copying.
They're totally copying us, which is great. I mean, that's that's because, you know, we
take it as a compliment.
The area, the population is only going to increase. We just, you know, we want to keep that like, you know, this is why
every community in the DC area, and there's a lot of other bids too, and we're all working for the same reasons. Exactly. We're all doing the same things. We just have to work on and be authentic to the community that you have.
Exactly.
And we don't try to, and Angie doesn't try to be Ballston. I don't try to be, we don't try to be Crystal City. We don't try to be downtown. We got great communities, and that's what we, you know, authentically just promote and keep working on to make it even better.
Right. Well, and I think that's actually another real core value of the Arlington community. We not only have Crystal City and Ballston, but we have Westover, we have Shirlington, we have Columbia Pike, we have the Lee Highway corridor, and we try to preserve those single family residents. We try to preserve that sort of front porch living, being able to get on your bike or walk to a green space, as well as walk to the metro, walk to a bus line. So you've really got lots of choices for how to live, where to live, and you can still have access to all these wonderful amenities that we have here in the county. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of choices.
Several favorite little haunts just to go and sit outside and have dinner, or, you know, totally. It's great.
Yeah, or you can just jump on your bike and take the trail. I think it's about a 17-mile loop.
17-mile loop. It's great. In fact, we have the Arlington County Fun Ride coming up. So it's like you know, bring your families and get them out there on bikes. You know,
exactly.
So just show how easy it is and how safe it is. So.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, there's so many things that go on in our, not just in our communities, but all over Arlington. I mean, there's something to do pretty much almost every hour of the day, every day of the week.
This coming weekend, I mean, it's unbelievable, which is great. I mean, that's what you want. It's like it's sort of a festival time. You know, so
this is the time of year. Things going on.
Absolutely. One of the things I hear when I go out and talk to residents in the community is they're always afraid that we're going to try and make all of Arlington look like Crystal City or Ballston. And I say no. I say our message is small town charm with big city amenities. We love Westover, we love the Lee Highway corridor. We want each little community to reflect the values of the people that live in that area, and we love the unique mix because that's what makes this a fabulous community to work in.
The fact is Arlington did it right. They did it right with the metro.
Exactly.
I mean, I know that was controversial probably at the time, but it was the right thing to do. Underground and build density around those nodes. And then step down, and that's what's happened.
But then coming with the streetcar coming too, it's not now. You know, the cost of underground is so much more, but streetcars have become something entirely different and further connecting the community as density. I mean, I think that's a big deal as well.
And what we've learned on the commission really is infrastructure. That's the key driver of our prosperity. And it's metro, it's streets, it's bus, it's streetcar, it's bikes, it's walking, and it's dark fiber.
Yeah.
So